Good morning, everybody. This is John Schneibly with Insurance Agency Marketing. I definitely appreciate everyone coming and attending this today. I hope everyone's excited about 2016 as we are, and we want to definitely start on a high note, going over this new exciting indexed lifetime income plus multiplier rider and the proprietary AIG indexed annuities. We're pleased to have Jared Anderson, Vice President of Sales with the Market Synergy Group here as our presenter. Want to make sure, Jared, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yes.
Great. I just have a few housekeeping items I want to go over here real quick, and then we'll shoot it over to Jared and have him go through the AIG product in more detail so you can see all the essentials and how powerful this new product is. Wanted to first go over, here at IAMS we've got a really dynamic creative services department that can help you out with a lot of different marketing needs. We have some different packages that we provide, basic marketing, branding, logos, business cards, all the way up to print marketing with your postcards, envelopes and letters, even Facebook posts. We can make it look like you're actually posting on there so they can push those out for you. Radio and even television advertising as well. So I do encourage you to talk to Matt Neal and explore this option. It can really definitely help build your business for 2016. Obviously, for anyone that's new to insurance agency marketing, don't know a lot about us, we got a really nice new producer program. We have 3 levels where you can earn some nice incentives. You can only qualify for one of the levels, but just the basic $100,000 level, you're looking at a new iPad. If you hit the $300,000 level and want to take advantage of the Social Security program, mailers, 3,000 piece postcard mailing, even to the $500,000 level. We've got some really nice marketing aspects to that. We also have a really nice referred producer program. You get $50 for every referral contract, $100 or more when you referral does business. You do get 20 basis points of all the business written from your referred agent. So that can definitely add up. And we do have a marketing reimbursement program as well. We will pay $200 of every $200 that you in turn spend on marketing as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get things started with Jared. I know everyone's got a busy, want to start this 2016. You got a lot of catching up to do with all the holidays. So I'm going to go ahead and get the screen over to Jared here.
All right. John, let me know when you can see.
I can see it right now.
Perfect. Well, we'll just get started. As John said, my name is Jared Anderson with Market Synergy Group. I want to take a little bit of time with you guys this morning to talk about a powerful combination of products that we have with AIG American General. Excuse me. As John had mentioned, we'll talk more specifically on the Lifetime Income Plus Multiplier, but also want to cover the entire product line that we offer through Market Synergy Group with AIG in partnership. The Power Select Plus Income we'll talk briefly about, which is our income rider product that has guaranteed income rider as well as performance-based income rider. And then also I think it's important that we mention to you our Power Select Builder product, which we've seen a tremendous amount of business coming through the doors in 2015 for that straight accumulation type of a product. Been very successful with the addition of some new income crediting strategies, and we're certainly excited about that. As John mentioned, Market Synergy Group works directly with AIG American General for this proprietary product that IAMS is certainly a part of, and we're happy to have them as a partnership within our organization. So just some statistics that I'll share with you. I think these are things that you have all probably seen, but it's important to point out when we're talking about income for life. 50% chance that one spouse will live beyond the age of 92 for a 65-year-old retired couple, and a 25% chance that one will live past 97. So there's a huge need for guaranteed income as well as income for life. Just to point out, We're all familiar with where rates are today. The 10-year Treasury, this is back, this goes back to December, but I think it's floating somewhere around that same area today, 2.21%, the last that I checked. Expenses are through the roof, so it's important for us that we have the ability to provide an income for these individuals throughout their retirement process, and then we'll talk with you about those specific products. So as I mentioned, the Power Select Builder is a product that we use that is designed specifically for accumulation. Okay, there's no income rider options. You have the ability to take up to 10% free withdrawals, but it's a straight accumulation product for those individuals who are looking to place their assets in a safe place and not have to pay an income rider fee, maybe take off a little bit here or there, but not necessarily provide them with the lifetime income that they're looking for. The Power Select Plus Income is a combination product that allows you to elect either a guaranteed income rider or a participating income rider, and we think that there's definitely a fit for both. We've seen a huge increase in our industry in performance-based income, and we feel like the story that we're getting ready to tell you is a very competitive one, and we've got something pretty special out there with an A+ rated carrier. So we can help protect principal from market downturns with the Builder product, grow their retirement assets. We do have a 5% premium enhancement and accumulate through the power of tax deferral, which is obviously important as well. The power of zero. Everyone understands, and certainly a big reason why we sell these types of products. Zero is our hero has been the tagline or the slogan for the last 15 years. So that's obviously important as well when we look at these types of products. As I mentioned, we do have a 5% premium bonus on our entire product line for any premiums received over $100,000. It's a 2% bonus for anything less than $100,000. Now that does vary by state. I believe there's 7 states that don't allow for an MBA, therefore there's a different bonus on that. Please check with your marketer at IAMS to see what state or which one you specifically qualify for. Okay, one of the things that really jumped our business up in 2015 was the addition of our new ML Strategic Balance Index. We'll talk about that as well as the S&P strategies that we offer. But again, the ML Strategic Balance Index is a fairly simple hybrid strategy that has 3 different components: an S&P 500, Treasury futures, as well as cash. Okay, there's a lot of different strategies out there, and for you, the advisor, it's important to know and understand them. We feel like we've simplified the process with the ML Strategic Balance Index, only utilizing 3 different asset classes: an equity class in S&P 500, a fixed income asset class in the Treasury futures, and then the cash component as well. With the Treasury futures, we have the ability to take advantage of a rise in interest rates, because ultimately what the Treasury futures will do is try to follow the 10-year Treasury rate as close as possible. So if you feel as if over the next 10 years, which is the term of all of our contracts, that the 10-year Treasury rate is going to rise, we get the ability to take advantage of that. For more details on that, again, I want you to call your marketer at IAMS and get some information on the ML Strategic Balance Index, which we feel is very fair and consistent in the way it provides returns to the client. In addition to that, we've got annual point-to-point, monthly point-to-point, all of the basic strategies, but we've also added what we feel is something that will be extremely competitive in 2016 in the S&P participation. Very important for us to have a simplified strategy on there. For the multiplier product purposes, it's a 35% participation in the S&P, no cap, no spread. Pretty excited about that, and we'll talk a little bit about that more here in just a moment. S&P, part of the reason we talk about that, not only simplifying the story or simplifying the process, we've seen a huge spike over the last 6 years or so in these hybrid type of strategies, and we feel like getting back to the basics and having a conversation with your client who doesn't study our industry day in and day out like all of us on the line here do, and talking to them specifically about an S&P strategy and how you can participate in 35% of that is extremely important. As you see here, we've put up a slide to show you 10% annual return over the last 20 years. But if we are interested in the hybrid type of strategies, again, I told you how simple our specific strategy is with the Treasury futures and the S&P 500, 8% average return over the last 20 years. So it's very important that you look at that and take a look and see specifically how it works, how it illustrates. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Again, we'll just show some hypothetical examples of all the strategies that we've had over a 10-year time frame with current caps, annual point-to-point. Again, $100,000 growing to roughly $127,000. These are all marketing materials that are available for you to go through and share with your clients as well. Annual point-to-point participation rate is something that we see is going to be a pretty big product for us, or excuse me, a pretty big strategy for us in 2016, as it was just added on December 9th of last year. Again, we also have monthly point-to-point additives. Again, just showing you some numbers as far as how they would illustrate over the last 10-year time frame. Monthly average jumping up to 126, all modest returns, ultimately what the index annuity is designed to do. Here's a look at our ML strategic balance annual point-to-point with a 1-year reset. You can see what happens taking the spread off there in some of these years, and then obviously taking advantage of the zeros as well. And here's the 2-year strategy, which tends to be our most popular and what we've seen the majority of our business in 2015 go into. Let's just get through these, John, real quick. Obviously, this is zero, showing you what happens in the event that we don't receive anything. Protection of principal, again, is what these products are designed to do, so we obviously have that ability as well. Okay, so now what I want to do is talk to you about the 2 different income rider options on the Power Select Plus income. Here at Market Synergy, through the design process, we feel like there's really 3 different areas in which index annuities are sold: guaranteed income, performance-based income, and accumulation. What we've done with our Power Select income is give you, the agent, as well as the client, the ability to make the selection based on the client needs. The Lifetime Income Plus is a guaranteed income rider offering 6.5% simple interest for the first 10 years of the contract. The Lifetime Income Plus Multiplier is performance-based. In addition to that, it gives the client the opportunity to take advantage of these types of strategies that we're talking about throughout the income phase of the contract as well, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. First, what I want to do is cover the Lifetime Income Plus. As I mentioned to you, 6.5% simple for the first 10 years. In addition to that, there's a nice feature, a doubling feature at the 10th contracting anniversary. If the client chooses not to touch their money, AIG in their contract says that premium plus bonus will double after a 10-year time frame. So this works very well for laddering types of scenarios where a client has a portion of their assets that they know that they don't need to touch for a 10-year time frame. Gives them an opportunity to get some pretty competitive income after that 10th year. Got a little slide here that shows you something that's very unique with what we offer. The Lifetime Income Plus rider is the only one in the industry that I'm aware of that has a keep the difference feature such as this. So as I mentioned earlier, for 10 years we're guaranteeing 6.5% simple interest. However, once you turn on income, you still have the ability to increase that income over that 10-year time frame. The example I have up here shows that 6.5% income credit of 5% withdrawal, which is the withdrawal factor at age 65. Therefore, if we take that 6.5 minus the 5, we still have 1.5% left. That then is applied to the income base, giving them a guaranteed rise in income. And again, keep in mind, this is our guaranteed income rider product that we've seen a tremendous amount of success with in 2015. And as I also mentioned, we know there's different areas in which you, the advisor, want to sell. There's certain individuals who are looking for guaranteed income. There's others that are looking for performance-based, which we'll talk about here in just a second. This is just a quick slide to show you the doubling feature that I referred to over the 10-year deferral time frame. It's always premium plus bonus, and then after that 10-year time frame, we are guaranteeing that it doubles, assuming that there are no withdrawals taking out over that specific time frame. So as you can see, $100,000 for a 55-year-old at age 65 will provide them with $10,500 guaranteed for life. Again, this is the guaranteed income rider product. Quickly, I want to point out our payout factors. When we designed the product, we knew an area in which we had to be extremely competitive was right around retirement age of 65. So as you can see, 5% payout factors at age 65, increasing 10 basis points every year. Another area that we knew we needed to be competitive in is in the joint payouts. So there is a 50 basis point reduction in joint payout, but we understand in the planning process, joint payouts tend to be something that are becoming more and more popular. Now we can go all the way down to age 50 in order to utilize the income rider. We get real competitive at 60, I would say fairly competitive at 60, and then we're most competitive at age 65 and beyond. What we found from a competitive analysis standpoint is if you're looking to take income in the first couple of years, there are a few carriers out there that are going to provide more initial income than us, but because of our keep the difference feature, generally speaking, we're always going to rise higher and provide more cumulative income throughout the retirement process than any other of our competitors that are out there today. So let's just do a quick client profile. A 60-year-old wanting to retire in 5 years, increase your retirement income. Maybe at age 66, she starts taking full retirement from Social Security. So as you can see from the chart here, for the first 5 years, they receive 6.5% simple interest income credit to their income base. At the time they turn on income at age 65, that keep the difference feature kicks in, and for the next 5 years, they receive a 1.5% increase in income. After that 10-year time frame, they lock in their guaranteed income for life at $11,550 a year. Again, what we're trying to accomplish in this scenario is provide them with the most cumulative income throughout the retirement process. It may not always be the highest in first year, but you have to pay attention to this keep the difference feature and see exactly what it is and how it can work into your retirement plans. Again, another example with the 60-year-old with $100,000 in premium, withdraws at age 65. As you can see throughout the chart here, they start a little bit lower and then are increasing every single year to that final number there. So again, important for you to take a look at an illustration. We've got nice, simple calculators. We also have a full illustration software system that will break it down for you and see accumulation, death benefit, all the things that you look for in a planning process for you and your client. What we want to do now is talk about our new income rider. As I mentioned, this was launched December 9th. We've seen a tremendous amount of interest in this. It's still probably too early to tell from a sales perspective, but we're extremely excited about it and expecting big things for 2016 with this specific rider. We know, as I mentioned earlier, that there's 3 phases of the indexed annuity and where they fit in the planning process, and that's guaranteed income, accumulation, and then performance-based income. So this would be our performance-based income rider. And it's very simple. During the deferral process, we take our interest credit on our base annuity contract and then apply a 250% multiplier as long as they're in deferral. Okay, where it gets really unique and different is once they choose to take income, they get the adjusted multiplier of 150%, which means they can continue to grow throughout their retirement process and utilize these types of strategies that we've created in these products that really drive the illustration of the rest of the industry. You know, what I found interesting is the average length of time a client defers a product with an income rider is 2 years and 5 months. So we have all these hybrid strategies out there that are illustrating well and showing clients these opportunities to grow so well. But in reality, the engine stops after 2.5 years when they turn on income, and they don't have the ability to take advantage of these incredibly designed income strategies. With ours, you do. You have the ability to have the adjusted multiplier and increasing income based on performance throughout the retirement process, which is extremely important. So how does it work? It's very simple. So what we're using here is a 4% rate of return on the index strategy in which you've selected for your client, okay, which we feel is very modest. 4%, anywhere from 3 to 5 on average is what we've seen over the time frame of the index annuity product. So we're going to use a 4% example here and show you how that multiplier works. In a year in which the client receives a 4% income credit, whether that be on the uncapped participation strategy, the Merrill Lynch strategy, whatever the case may be, if they receive 4%, we multiply that by the 250%. Therefore, they're getting a 10% income credit to their income base, increasing that by a significant amount, providing them with an opportunity for even higher income for life. During the payout phase, during the income phase, if you will, we've jumped up the assumed rate of return here for example purposes, but in a year in which they receive 6%, maybe it's a banner year for the S&P strategy or the Merrill strategy and they receive 6%. We're still applying that adjusted multiplier of 150%. Now the difference is we've got to take out that annual withdrawal at age 65 is 5%. So if we receive a 6% credit to our specific product, we apply the adjusted multiplier of 150, that's 9. We take out that 5% withdrawal, and we still get a 4% credit to our income base, which is very significant in our industry, very different. Not very many of them out there like that, and the ones that I'm aware of and that I know of sometimes will make you wait 10 years before you can take income. This has the ability to turn on income within 30 days and then receive that performance-based increase in income throughout the retirement process. So very unique, very different. The key is, as I've mentioned before, and I'll mention a few more times, we've got to contact your marketer at IAMS and run an illustration and have them walk you through it. And I think you'll be extremely surprised at the types of numbers that we can provide from a performance base using modest numbers. The idea behind this design wasn't to design some sort of accrediting strategy that will show you crazy illustrated numbers, but the idea was, how can we design an income rider that the client can truly take advantage of, not only during the deferral phase, but throughout the retirement process and the income phase as well. And we think we've done a phenomenal job of that. So let's take a look at a 55-year-old wanting to retire in 10 years utilizing the Lifetime Income Plus multiplier. Okay, well, again, we'll show you a chart here, throwing some hypothetical assumed numbers in there. You can see 5% premium bonus in the first year. There's a 7.5% increase, a 10% increase because of the multiplier. And then once we start taking income, it goes to the adjusted multiplier. But you can see there, any time in which a client receives even 4%, they're getting a 10% credit to their income base. If they receive a 5% credit, obviously that number goes up to 12.5%. So you can see that 4 to 5% is going to give them 10 to 12.5% for retirement purposes added to their income base, which we feel is really huge. We think there's some years in there which they could potentially receive 6 or 7% and take advantage of that fully. Again, once we go to the adjusted multiplier, they're going to continue to receive increases in their income throughout the retirement process, all the way up to age 95 or until the account value equals 0. So Gary's profile looks a little bit like this. Starts at $8,794. Again, we'll have the ability to see this on our illustration software that John or anybody at the IAMS office can run you, and you can see that it increases, every 3 years, whatever the case may be. But it's really an equity inflation type of an income rider that you just don't have out there in the industry today, and we're excited to be one of the first to provide you all with something like that, especially from an A+ rated carrier and AIG American General. Popping up the payout factors for you again, nothing changes. Our guaranteed income rider product and our performance-based income rider product have the same payout factors. Very competitive at age 65, really competitive throughout the time frame, but real competitive at that retirement age of 65, and even more so on the joint cases that we've talked about as well. So really what we wanted to do with this new design is provide you, the agent, with opportunity to do the planning that you're best at. We've got a guaranteed income rider that's extremely competitive. We have no changes taking place in 2016. I know some of our competitors have had to make some changes to follow actuarial guidelines. However, we were already following those, so there's no changes to our existing product, which is going to put us in the top 2 or 3 in almost all scenarios for guaranteed income purposes. Now we've added a performance-based income rider that gives you a 250% increase during the deferral stage and 150% during the payout stage, which we feel is very competitive as well. We've ran all sorts of competitive analysis against our competitors, and we feel for income purposes, it's very tough to find a product that's going to look better than what we've provided. So some additional details. Obviously, we've got a fixed interest crediting strategy. A beneficiary protection, 87.5% at 1 is the minimum guarantee. 10% free withdrawals available on all of our contracts starting after year 1. There's a terminal illness rider, an extended care rider, as well as an activities of daily living rider. All of those, if those apply to your client, they receive the full accumulated value in a lump sum, which we think is very important as well. As far as withdrawal charges, as we look at this, we designed the product to be 10-10 friendly, if you will. We know that it's important when we look at a product. We want to make sure that we feel like the client's won as well. Absolutely important to make sure that they're taken care of first and foremost. So we have a surrender charge schedule that starts at 10 and reduces down to 0. And I think that's important for you, the advisor, to look at. From a competitive standpoint, you may see some stuff out there that looks pretty interesting or pretty competitive for that specific client, but we also don't want to lock them up in the event that things change. We feel like with interest rates at an all-time low, products are only getting better, and we feel like putting them into something that has high surrender charges for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years isn't necessarily the right thing for the client. So we've been very careful about the design to make sure that they have options, and we want you to have options as well. Minimum requirement for premium is $25,000. $1 million will require home office approval on the high end. All of our products do ride up to age 78. The income riders, you got to be 50 to get into. premium enhancement recapture. Again, I want to make sure that we point out everything for you. There is a recapture on the premium bonus in the 10-year time frame of the contract. It's all part of the design of the product and how it prices to give us this extremely high and extremely competitive guaranteed income for life. But again, just to sum things up, one of the things that we're working on here at Market Synergy Group in 2016 is something that we call GPA, guaranteed income, performance-based income, and accumulation. We feel like we cover all of the areas that an indexed annuity is supposed to do. So we're extremely excited about that. We've jumped up into the top 5 in sales and indexed annuities, and our expectations is try to get to that #1 spot. As John had mentioned to you, this is a proprietary exclusive product with limited access. IMES is one of our partners that we're very excited to be with for all of 2016. So we're looking forward to a huge year from that standpoint as well. I would say the biggest key is to think about a scenario in which you have a client who you've talked to or a case that you've ran where you've looked at income, whether that be from a guaranteed income standpoint or from a performance-based standpoint, and give us a shot. Give IMES a shot. Give us an opportunity to show you what this product from an A+ rated carrier can provide. All the details, talk specifically about the ML Strategic Balance Index strategy, our new participation strategy with the S&P 500, which we think is a much simpler conversation with the client, and give them a chance. Have them run you an illustration with one that you're working on right now and just see where we stack up. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with that. John, with that said, I think we tried to keep it within our 30 minutes because we know how busy everybody is, but I'd be happy to open it up for questions for anybody that has any.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a few questions. Jared, I want you to touch also about the producer bonus program as well. I think that'd be something that they'd probably like to hear about.
Absolutely. So in addition to having an extremely competitive product on all aspects of the index annuity, all products will apply towards your qualification. But we do provide a producer bonus at $1 million of 50 basis points. At $2.5 million, you receive a full point, and at $5 million, you receive 1.5. And that's all retro back to $1. So as a $5 million producer, it's an 8.5% commission to you, the agent. So we know it's important for you to run your business, and we want to have a very competitive product out there, and we want to reward consistency. So we've got the producer bonus. That's calendar year premium, so we're basically starting today and look forward to the opportunity to get you to earn that. We had a substantial amount of agents qualify for that this year, and we're expecting the same thing for 2016.
I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll real quick about who would like to get contracting information on AIG while I go through the questions here. So the poll is open. All right, let me go to the questions. First one is by Ken. What was the return for 2015 for the Merrill Lynch Strategic Balance Index?
Oh man, I don't have that.
I did look. On the 30. I think it was the 31st before the close. I think it was down 1.41%. I think is in that range is where it was at. So
yeah, I believe it was a touch better than the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So again, these hybrid or whatever you want to call them types of strategies are designed to be consistent, not necessarily hit home runs or not necessarily have big losses. And I believe we were just a little bit better than the S&P 500, maybe a touch worse. But it's again, 2015 was a bad year for all strategies. So
it's not the index is the market's not doing so well today. That's for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Next question: when will the looks like probably the Merrill Lynch 2-year index be available in New Jersey?
Interesting question. I don't know. I know that it's been filed. New Jersey is one of the very few states that has not approved it. We do have the 1-year strategy in New Jersey. Ironically enough, New Jersey hasn't even approved the 35% participation strategy, which I find to be odd. So it's just a difficult state to work with. It's filed. We don't get updates as far as where they're at, but once it becomes available, we'll shoot it out to everybody and make sure that they're aware of it. I know that, like I said, I know that it's filed, and we're working to get that taken care of. It's just for whatever reason they have a hang-up on a 2-year strategy.
Okay. And then next question. What happens if a client decides to take a systematic partial withdrawal without activating annuitization? Does he or she still have a chance at accumulating interest to the additional principal? Does that income increase continue for the life of the contract even after cash value is drained?
So once cash value is drained, you lock in that number, and there is no increase in the payout. Going back to systematic withdrawal, once you take your first withdrawal with either the guaranteed product or the performance-based product, you lock in your payout factor, and then you start earning. So if you only take 2% and you were to earn 7, your difference in that scenario would be 5. So you'll always continue to grow that as long as there's any accumulation value left in the contract or to age 95. What we've seen is it takes anywhere from 17 to 22 years to drain that. And drain that's probably not the best word choice, but that's generally speaking how long it takes for the accumulation value to go. So you see anywhere from 17 to 22 years of increases throughout the term of the contract, generally speaking in their 90s before it locks in at that guaranteed income for life. So once the account value equals 0, you lock in that number and you receive that payment for as long as you live.
Next question is rider cost, and I can answer that. That's 1.1% each year. Next question on the multiplier, 250%. If the client doesn't receive any interest credited, then nothing is added to the income accumulation for that year. That is correct. Yep.
Yep. But even a 1% return would give them 2.5. So.
And then available in Pennsylvania was another question.
Income rider.
I think the new one, it's the strategy that's not approved, correct? The S&P.
Correct. Income rider is available in Pennsylvania, yes. The 35% par strategy is not available yet in Pennsylvania. It's only Pennsylvania and New Jersey are the only 2 states that don't have the new strategy. So yes, the income rider is available, however, the new strategy is not.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll here. I do appreciate everyone participating in today's webinar. As Jared had mentioned, please take advantage of us here for illustrations. You can go to our website as well. We've got an annuity quote engine, so you can request it online 24/7, and we will get that. This is a great product, and you definitely need to see this in illustrated form because the numbers are very powerful when you take a look at it. Both the Merrill Lynch Strategic Balanced Index as well as the 35% participation with the S&P. Those are both great indexes and have some great accumulation numbers that really just look unbelievable when you have that multiplier effect in there. So I want to thank everyone again. Jared, thank you very much. You always do such a great job, and we look forward to you. Give us a call at 1-800-255-5055 and ask for John Schneibele, and we'll help you out as much as I can. You guys take care and have a great 2016. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Mm-hmm.